All right, guys, Dan over at Revolver sent in another watch. This one is called the R88. Limited edition, only 88 will be made. So pretty cool. I'll put a link in the description to their website. And let's get into it. This one's definitely on the smaller side compared to the model I had in before. And obviously you can see the little trick transparent seconds disc there with the revolving loaded chamber bullet, whatever you want to call it. But case size on this is only 40.5 millimeters, so this is going to work on many wrist size for sure. It is 47.8 lug to lug. You can see really nice case shape to this. Excellent finishing, brushed, polished, all of that is just very nice transitions. It is about 11.8 millimeter thick. You can see there is a ever so slightly single domed sapphire crystal on this guy. 20 millimeter lug width there, so it is going to be a strap monster. However, they are shipping these, well, you can get it, there's two different versions you can get. You can get one with the strap code bracelet, or you can get it with this one, which I honestly, you guys know I'm a bracelet guy, but I have fallen in love with these vulcanized rubber straps, and that's what they include with this one. Honestly, this is the Strap Mill Canada one, and it looks identical, other than they have this branding here on the buckle here, whereas the Strap Mill doesn't. Other than that, it's identical to the Strap Mill, so it's a total win in my book. I don't know where these straps are coming from, but everybody start including these with your watches because I love them. So now that we covered the size, we know that there's only going to be 88 of them made. You have a really cool case back here, screw down, with a display showing the Seiko NH35 movement. But you can see automatic, water resistant, 50 meter, Japan movement, indicating the NH35. And they're calling it the Sniper Series, right? Yeah, Sniper Series stainless steel. Oh, Recon. So pretty cool. They filled that space with a bunch of cool words. I dig it. So it is a push-pull crown. It is a signed crown, and it has a little print there of a firearm. So hard to tell. Maybe it's very difficult to do it that small. I mean, typically they do revolver stuff, and that doesn't really look like a revolver to me, but it's still really cool to see that firearm on the signed crown there. Guys, I'm a firearm guy. I know a lot of people are going to be watching this and, say whatever you want or whatever your beliefs are, but with mechanical things, they kind of all tie together. So watches and cars and guns and knives, a lot of us are into like many of those things, or at least more than one of those things. So regardless of your thoughts on it, this is a revolver designed style cues from revolvers into this watch. If you don't like firearms, I don't know why you've watched so far for 3 minutes. You should have never even clicked on this video. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, there is C3 Luminova on this guy, and you can see how it has that really cool greenish tone to it, and that sandwich, I think it's a sandwich dial. Let's zoom in and check it out. And man, I can't tell if that's printed on or sandwich dial. That might be printed on. It's hard for me to tell. I don't see any depth, so that might be printed on. It's hard to tell. But you can see like it's definitely a metal look to the, I guess it would be like the cylinder, with all the chambers on it. So they did that all in metal, which is appropriate. I think that looks great. And then you have that completely transparent. I mean, you have to get it in the right angle to even realize that that's what's happening. If you look dead on like that, it just looks like that thing is just floating, and it lines up with the cylinders. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of cool. And obviously the revolver is done in that green color, so that's going to be lume too. When we do the lume shot, you'll see it. Let's see. Nice handset. Very legible. Oh, we're covering up the date. Let me pop this out. And so being that it's a NH35, yeah, you're going to have the date there as well. I could have done a no date on these. I think I like date watches, but I think when you're doing the primary design as a revolver firearm type thing, I would rather just have the symmetry of the dial. So in the future, guys, if you want to take any constructive criticism from me, I would just say do no date. Forget the date. Just keep the symmetry of the dial. Unless there was some weird way you could incorporate that into the cylinder design. I just don't see it though. I think I would rather just do a no date, but that's just me. Let's pop this guy on wrist and then we'll do a loom shot. You can see the finishing. They did a really good job. It took them a while. This is like a second variant. I think they've done an R88 before, like early on when they were doing these, doing this brand. So now this is like, I think the second version. I don't know all of the history on it, but it's all kind of written out. Man, going from that Borealis with the strap mill cam onto this, it just feels like a natural transition. So you can see 40.5 millimeter by almost 48 mil on my 7.25 wrist. This, I mean, this is smaller even really than what I have been wearing, but I can still wear this no problem. So if you have a little bit smaller wrist and you want to have like a wild card or you're into firearms, this is definitely a cool watch. And they're priced pretty reasonable, I think. $329. You're getting the vulcanized rubber. You have a nice pouch that it comes in. You have really good loom, you know, a reliable Seiko NH35 movement. And it's just something you're not going to see anywhere. It's definitely a conversation piece. If somebody, one of your buddies or something like that, notice it on your wrist, they're going to probably ask you about it. So it's pretty cool. So let me kill the lights and we will check out the loom on this guy. So yeah, it should be pretty fun. Here it is. So huge, you know, seconds, I don't know what you call it, bullet running around. That takes up a lot of real estate. Of course, the hour and a minute, and then that all the way around the circumference there. The indices, if you will call those indices, I guess, and the revolver are, the branding is definitely a lower tone. Like it's a little harder for me to see, but the hour and minute and the seconds hand, totally easy. No problem there. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Big thanks to Dan over at Revolver, sir, for sending this in. I'll catch you on the next vid.